Hi everyone, welcome to Sunya IAS. In today's session, we will continue the series of your Aarambh batch where we will discuss the Mauryan age today. So this particular time period is very important because for the very first time in India, we saw a great central administration with so much of power that it was never before. It was such a big empire. Yes, we had few of the things related to the Nanda Empire also, and in Nanda dynasty also this kind of powerful thing got emerged. But still, if you look at the Nanda dynasty and if you compare it with the Mauryan Empire, you will know that the Mauryan age was very, very vast and it was having a lot of areas covered into the, entire empire. See, the polity is very important here. The political structure was big, the army was bigger, everything was bigger and greater. So how it started, why it began, let's understand this with a very nice detail. Good evening, Jitendra. Good evening, everyone. Am I live? I hope I'm audible and visible to you clearly. Yes. So first of all, guys, we need to understand that why are we reading it? What is Mauryan Empire? What do we mean by the empire? How empire is different from a kingdom or a dynasty? So when I say dynasty, dynasty means what? Dynasty means a family who ruled over a certain period on a particular area. Okay, so when I say Mughal dynasty, means there will be a ruler and then the hereditary position will be maintained and same family will be having the rule with multiple rulers again and again with successive years. For example, Babur came. After Babur, we saw Humayun, right? Akbar. So in this way, we know that this hereditary position is going on, right? We see that it's like the son is being the next king and then son of son will be the next king. So this is known as a dynasty where a family rule is considered. Okay, same family is continuing the rule. So that is dynasty. So when I say Mughal dynasty, that's right. When I say Mauryan dynasty, that's right, because the family members all are same. But if I say kingdom, kingdom means that maybe there is no dynastic rule or no hereditary position maintained, but still that area covered a lot of states under it. So it was a kingdom under a king control or king's control. It used to work. Kingdom is smaller than the empire basically. So if you mix many kingdoms, then you will get one empire. Okay, so after combining 4 or 5 kingdoms, we used to get an empire which was ruled by the emperor, not by a king but by an emperor, means samrat or badshah. King means Raja, a small Raja, but the empire or the area of the empire is bigger than the kingdom. It is vast. So if you look at this map, what do you think? We should call Mauryans as Mauryan Kingdom or Mauryan Empire. It's clearly visible that such a vast area was covered. Entire Indian subcontinent was in the influence of this power. So we will only call it Mauryan Empire. Okay. For example, I'll explain it more to you. If I look at this particular zone where the Chalukyas used to rule, then for Chalukyas, I would say Chalukya Kingdom or Chalukya's dynasty. Right? So why? Because Chalukya had a smaller zone to cover. So they were smaller in their size. So according to the area of their extent, they will be known as kingdom, not empire. Have you ever seen or read in any of the book where they write Chalukyan Empire? No, they write Chalukyas or Chalukya's kingdom. Why? Because the area covered was smaller. So if you combine many kingdoms, then you will get one empire. So empire is the biggest area at the political level, you can say. It is a very big zone which covers the entire country or more than one country. I hope it is clear. Any doubts? Yes. Now the next important thing is, yes, good evening guys, good evening everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I want you to understand a point here that when I come to the class, I already, try to take 2-3 minutes, but when I come, I want everybody live. I want you guys to be on time. I, deliberately start the class after 2 minutes so that you also get some chance to open your notebook and start making your running notes. So be there live on time, and please try to revise the yesterday's session before I start the class, because you will have 2-3 minutes. Okay, so in those 2 to 3 minutes, if you just see the pointers of the last class, you'll be able to connect it easily, as we are doing history in a chronological order. So it's very important for you that you follow the chronology. Clear? Now, this is very much clear that we will call Mauryans as Mauryan Empire. So, can I call it Mauryan dynasty also? Yes, because the dynasty was also ruling under the Mauryan Empire. The family was ruling, as we saw that Chandragupta started the Mauryan Empire. After him, the next ruler came Bindusar, and then Ashoka, and then we saw the successors of Ashoka, and ultimately under the rule of Dashrath, it got declined. Okay, Dashrath was the last powerful ruler of Mauryan Empire, after which it started to decline. The Mauryan Empire got split into two parts. Mauryan Empire got split into two parts. When the decline started, it basically got, divided into two zones. It was known as the Eastern Mauryan Empire and Western Mauryan Empire. The Western Mauryan Empire lost its power sooner than the Eastern Mauryan Empire. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you about the, the ideas of their military control and how the revolt happened inside the empire itself, due to which it started to decline. Sometimes it is said that the Ashokan peace policies are also one of the reasons due to which the Mauryan Empire got declined. But before the decline, I want you to connect it from the yesterday's session. I hope you remember that I told you the rise of Mahajanpads, where I discussed the Magad Mahajanpad with you. So basically, this particular zone, okay, this particular zone was very, very important, and from this area, Magad was rising. Magad became the most important Mahajanpad after defeating Vaishali, Avanti, and every other small units near to the Magad. Now, in the Magad Empire, Haryanka dynasty got started. After the fall of Haryanka dynasty, we had Shishunag dynasty, okay, where Kalashoka was a very important ruler. And then we saw the fall of Shishunag dynasty and ultimately the rise of Nanda dynasty. Nanda dynasty is important for us. Why? Because during the time of Nanda rule, we saw the invasion of Alexander in India. However, Alexander never had any war with the Nanda dynasty because he got so tired by fighting with the northwestern tribal groups that he ultimately had to take some rest, and the army, Alexander's army, they were not ready to move further, and they knew about the army and the strength of Nandas, so that's why they were fearful. So they wanted to have some rest and prepare more before they go ahead, and ultimately they never came back because the Alexander died. Okay, so this real invasion, basically the penetration happened, Alexander's penetration I would call it. I won't say Alexander's invasion in India. Okay, this is wrong history as it is written by the Europeans. So the way they wrote it, accordingly we read it. But Alexander never ever invaded India. He just penetrated into the northwestern parts. Okay, and after defeating Porus, he gave Porus back his throne because he was very happy with the bravery of Porus. So he gave it back. Okay, after the battle of Hydaspes, which happened on the Jhelum river. But even after returning it back to the Porus, he, established some governors in India before he was trying to rest and before he was trying to console his army men. So basically, he went back and he died. He never came back. Okay, as he died, so how the invasion happened? So if I call it Alexander's invasion, that is wrong. Okay, if I say that Kalidas was the Shakespeare of India, it is written in the history like this. Europeans call it like this. Okay, we are reading it in this way, but this is wrong because Samudragupta was greater than the Napoleon, and Samudragupta came before the Napoleon. So we should say Napoleon is the Samudragupta of Europe. Okay, but we are saying opposite. We call that, okay, Samudragupta was the Napoleon of India, which is wrong. Okay, we call that Kalidas is the Shakespeare of India. But actually, in reality, if you compare the literature of Kalidas and Shakespeare, there is no match. So this is a problem with the history, that we Indians, for us, by ourselves, we never wrote it. There is no culture of historiography in India. Even today, we follow the ideas of Europeans. We have never tried to rewrite the history for ourselves, like according to the eyes of Indians. Nowadays, I see many changes are happening, and NCERT is also getting updated by including the South Indian kingdoms more, by including the Northeast India more. But still, we follow that old tradition, that convention of history reading, in which so many rulers, so many names and dynasties are missing. There is no detail of Rajput history. There is no detail of Marathas, but they are very important for us. But still, it is nowhere in the books. Even if it is there, only few of the chapters are related to it. Rest of it is all about Delhi Sultanate and Mughal Empire. But the medieval Indian history is not about Delhi Sultanate and Mughal Empire only. We had so many great Indian kingdoms. We should talk about them also. But we have nothing written by historians like that. So just understand the point. Nanda dynasty had this much of extent. Okay. So this Nanda dynasty basically got defeated by Chandragupta Maurya. Why it happened? When Alexander was planning to come to India, Kautilya knew about it. Okay. So Kautilya, basically, he was a very great scholar of that time. So Kautilya knew that Alexander is trying to come and he may attack the Nanda dynasty. So we should be prepared so that we can defeat Alexander later. So he just wanted to warn the ruler. Dhananand was ruling at that time. So he just wanted to give some warning, and he also wanted to give some ideas so that the empire would be intact and everything will be fine in the future. He was a well-wisher of Nanda dynasty. But when he went to the court, he was dishonored and degraded very, very greatly. He was so displeased that he, took a pratigya, or you can say he just took a decision that I will take a pledge that I will never wash my hair, the shikha, until I kill the Dhananand, or until I defeat Dhananand. That day he took this decision to take the revenge, and he started looking for a boy who could be the ruler for India, and he saw that kind of power in a small boy, Chandragupta Maurya. So Chandragupta Maurya, basically, he was not a Rajput or a ruler who, came from the Kshatriya clan. Okay. He was not a Kshatriya, but still he became a great ruler. So this, tells you that if you take a decision, if you make your mind, you can do whatever you want. You can kill a ruler like Dhananand. You can achieve anything. You can conquer anything. It's all about your perception and mindset. It is all about your willpower, right? And here the willpower of Chandragupta Maurya, made him know about all the activities of warfare. He himself joined the Alexander's army also secretly, to know the secret details of Alexander and their pattern and their ideas. And somehow he instigated the army to go back. It is also said, it is also a part of story, but we don't know that if it is really correct. But I'm just telling you, this is also said that Chandragupta Maurya was so intelligent. Now very deeply and very nicely they started the plan. So it tells you that if you do something, either you do it with a great heart, okay, completely just delve into it, or just don't do it. Because there is no point of reading something on surface level. There is no point of just starting something and going for it. It's like you're just wasting your time. The important part, the golden period of your life, this age is a golden period for you. You will realize it later when you will reach to your late 20s. Like I am now realizing it in my late 20s, that my early 20s had a great golden age. And at that point of time, I had to take care of so many things. If I could have done that, I could have done this. I always have a guilt in my mind. Everybody has it. But the thing is, if you learn from your seniors, you will know that you should not waste your time. You should invest in the right approach, that will give you so many benefits. Only 1 year of struggle can make your entire life glow. Okay, can improve the entire culture of your family, can establish something which is a great power for you and for your generations. So just 1 year of struggle is there, and you can do whatever you want. And here, this Mauryan Empire, this is a story which should inspire you greatly to crack the UPSC, CSE, or any exam you're preparing for. How do we know about this particular empire? Okay, now we understood that it is so important and it had so vast of developments. But still, why it is so important? Basically, the significance is the political unity which we achieved for the very first time in India. Okay, it was achieved in India for the very first time, and the foundation of the Mauryan Empire is very strong. It was developed for so many years, and so many generations made it appear so great. When we call a great empire or a great ruler, it should be all-rounder, means it should be good in art and culture, literary developments, political developments, social developments, economical developments, everything we will see. If there is development in all the spheres of life, then only we will call it a great empire. Like the Gupta age, why we call it a golden age? Because it is not because in the Gupta age everything was made up of gold. In childhood, I used to think like that. In childhood, I had this misconception that maybe Gupta age, why we call it a golden age, maybe because everything was made up of gold. But no, gold coins were there in the variety. Yes, it was in the abundance, but it was known as the Golden Empire because there was an all-round development. Everything was getting developed in India. We had the process of Renaissance also. We saw Renaissance before the Europes. Okay, before the Europeans saw it. But still, as it is not written in the history, so nobody knows in the world. But if you know the real awakening, the real Renaissance, the golden period, the top of it, everything, India already saw. India saw it before the Europe. When Europe had the dark age, we had the golden age in India. So we should always read the Indian history, and the world should read the Indian history, and then they should compare it with their own history. But we are doing opposite. We are comparing the world history, taking inspiration from the world and their constitution and trying to compare it with the India. Okay, this perception is very wrong, but still, as it is a convention, we need to follow that. Okay, and we are not PhD scholars or preparing for anything else. So here we just can't go anti-government. Whatever is written in the way, that we will read, because that will only help us crack the exam. Now, if we talk about the literary sources, we have different types of sources. We have literary sources also, we have archaeological evidences also to know about the Mauryan Empire. So if I talk about the Kautilya, he wrote Arthashastra. What is Arthashastra? Basically, do you know the literal meaning of Arthashastra? What is the literal meaning? Can you tell me? Anyone? Just try if you know. Arthashastra simply means economy. Okay. Arthashastra is about earth. Earth means paisa, money. So basically, it looks like it was about economy by the name, but it was not about economy. It was not just about economy. It was more than economy. It was including polity in it. There was a complete discussion on the international relations, political affairs, public administration, economic policies, reforms, and yes, of course, the overall economy and society also. So it was the compilation of everything. The name was given Arthashastra by Kautilya. So Kautilya basically was the contemporary of Chandragupta Maurya. He was the minister of Chandragupta Maurya, who was very, very important. And this is the most important literary source, the Arthashastra, for us to know about the history of Maurya. Kautilya is also known as Indian Machiavelli. Again, as I told you, we compare our scholars with the other scholars. So I really don't feel good about it, but still you need to read it because for exam it is important. Okay, now the manuscript of Arthashastra was first discovered by R. Shama Shastri in 1905. This is very important. You should remember the name for prelims. Now, the Arthashastra divided it into three parts. The first part deals with the king and his council and the department of government, like how the governance should function. The second with the civil and criminal law, and the third with the diplomacy and war. So you can see international relation. Entire GS paper 2 and GS paper 3 was covered in Arthashastra. Okay, in short, to make a UPSC aspirant understand, I would say that GS paper 2 and GS paper 3 was the part of Arthashastra. Even the paper 4 of ethics and integrity, some of the parts and topics are related to that also, which you can find in Arthashastra also. So it was something which used to guide the ruler also and people also, that how to manage a good society, how to maintain a good political administration. Now here we need to see few of the important zones for the exam. Okay, that will be helpful for you in the entire course structure. It is very important. So please look at the Tamralipti. This is a very important trading location. Tamralipti, very important. Amravati, again very important. Then here Kandahar and Takshila. Okay, these are very important. Okay, they all were directly or indirectly connected to the Silk Route also. So the Chinese Silk Route connected these four directly, like Takshila was connected directly, Kandahar was connected directly to the Chinese Silk Route, but Tamralipti was indirectly connected. Okay, and Amravati was also indirectly connected. But if you look at the most important position, it was for the Ujjain, because Ujjain, can you tell me why Ujjain is important? This is Ujjain here. Can you just look at the location of Ujjain, and can you give me any geopolitical importance or speciality of this particular zone? Anyone? Try. You need to give me the answers, okay? Jitendra, very nice. I see only Jitendra is trying. I will remember the name, and if I'll remember your name, I will guide you and I'll give mentorship to those students only who are active in the class. Otherwise, if you will call to the office and if you'll ask for my help, maybe some other mentor will be provided to you. Maybe your doubt will be resolved, but I personally won't be able to connect with you. So I remember the name Rahi and Jitendra every time because they are very active in the class. So if I'll see their text, if I'll see their message, I'll be completely prompted that I should reply them quickly because they always are answerable to me. So you should also learn from your classmates. It is a competitive exam. This exam is not about your time, ego, and your comfort. It is not about how you behave. It is about your competition, how you can be ahead of others. Okay, and you will be ahead of others by saving your time, which will be given with the ideas of your mentors. If your mentor will leave you, you won't be able to proceed. Okay, I won't say that you won't be able to crack. You would be able to crack, but the process will be tougher for you. But if you have a right mentor, you will crack it easily and quickly, maybe in the first attempt itself. Okay, now the next important thing is Ujjain. Ujjain is important for its prime location. It is in the center of India. It connected everything. Like it was something which used to be like a connecting point. That's why in this particular zone, each and every kind of material, people and culture was visible. Everybody wanted to capture Ujjain. Ujjain was so important at that time. Like if you just conquer the Ujjain, it was seen as if you will conquer the entire India. So Ujjain had a very important location. Now, because Ujjain connected the North India and South India with other parts of the world, so it became so important for trade and commerce that every ruler wanted to capture it. Now, when I talk about the literary sources, only the Arthashastra is not important for us, but we have so many other literary sources as well. Like we have the Mudra Rakshas of Vishak Datta. Vishak Datta is the writer who wrote Mudra Rakshas. Okay, but this, can you tell me a limitation of Mudra Rakshas? The limitation is that it was not written during the Mauryan Empire. It got later written down during the Gupta age, but it talked about the Mauryan era. Okay, like we sometimes write about our past, no? Like in my childhood, I used to do this, I used to do that. If I write something like that, maybe I'm not living in that particular age right now, but still I know what happened. So here also Mudra Rakshas tells you about the story how Chandragupta Maurya was prepared to defeat the Dhananand and destroy the Nanda dynasty. Clear? Thank you so much, Govinda. And it is the center of empire. Very nice, Vijay. Very good. And Nitesh is saying north and south connecting point. Very good, Nitesh. Well done. No, Bhimbetka is wrong answer, Jitendra. See, Bhimbetka has no relation now. Why Bhimbetka was important for us when we were doing the prehistory. Okay, because Bhimbetka caves are important for the prehistoric paintings. Even today, it is a UNESCO's World Heritage Site and it is also known as Zoo Rock Shelter. Why? Because Zoo Rock Shelter, as it looks like a zoo when you enter the Bhimbetka cave, so many big, paintings, mural paintings of mural painting is known basically wall paintings are known as mural paintings. So instead of saying wall paintings, you should use the word mural paintings. Okay, if you will write mural in the exam, you will get extra marks. So the mural paintings of Bhimbetka, they look so nice and they are full of animals. So when you enter the cave, it looks like you have entered in a zoo. That's why it is known as a zoo rock shelter. Zoo Rock Shelter. Okay. Okay, Ashwini, you are also first time. Those who are the new student, whenever you come to the class, even if you watch in the recording, tell me that I am new so that I know your name. If I'll know your name, it will be your own benefit. Okay. It will be a burden on my head. It is a stress for me to remember so many names, isn't it? But it will be beneficial for you because I'll be knowing, okay, these students are mine. Okay, I will be having a personal connection with you that, okay, fine, these are my students, I need to guide them, I need to make them prepare so nicely that they crack the exam. So for, your goal will be my goal, but it will be my goal only if I know your name, if I know you. If I don't know you, how would I help you? I will then generally give you the lectures like other teachers do in the YouTube. Fine. Now the next important thing is, just understand, Nitesh, okay, Nitesha, okay. Just tell me your pronunciation. Basically, Vishak Datta's Mudra Rakshas, this is very, very important. It was written by Vishak Datta. It is a drama in Sanskrit, okay, which describes the part where Chandragupta, how he assassinated the Nanda ruler. With the assistance of Kautilya, with the help of Kautilya, he overthrew the Nandas, but it was written during the Gupta period, which is a limitation of the Vishak Datta's Mudra Rakshas. So if prelims they ask you what is the limitation of Vishak Datta's Mudra Rakshas, what is the limitation, how it is limited to some extent, because it was written very much later, after many years of the end of Mauryan Empire. When Mauryan Empire ended, post-Mauryan era ended, then in the Gupta age it got written. Now, it also gives us a picture of socio-economic condition under the Mauryan rule. Then very important literary record is Megasthenes Indica. Who was Megasthenes? I told you one thing, that if you look at the Delhi Sultanate, it was started by Qutbuddin Aibak. Okay, Qutbuddin Aibak was the slave of Muhammad Ghori. Okay, he was a governor basically, but he became the ruler. So this idea of keeping the governors, do you know who started it in India? Like if you can't, go for the war and if you can't proceed, then you can just keep your governors and can come back later after few years or few months of preparation and then attack and restart from the same zone. It's like resuming your administration from the same area you left the war. Resuming from the same point. So if you want to resume from the same point, instead of restarting everything, what you can do, you can keep a governor to check everything, to keep it in control. And then after few months, you can come back after the preparation and then you can proceed further and start getting other areas conquered by you. So it's a very easy concept. So keeping the governors, this idea was given by whom? Yes, it was by Alexander. And you are right, Gaurav, that he was a Greek ambassador. Megasthenes was a Greek ambassador. Now, why this Greek ambassador came to India? Why? What was he doing in the Mauryan Empire? Basically, there was a governor known as Seleucus Nicator. Okay, So Seleucus Nicator, he was a governor of Alexander who used to rule in the northwestern part of Indian subcontinent. So he was taking care of that northwestern provincial area, which was given to him by the Alexander. Basically, when Alexander went back, before going back, he divided his entire zone into four parts because he wanted to restart from there only. So he established four governors in India, from which Seleucus Nicator was taking care of the northwestern zone. When he was taking care of the northwestern part, he was very, very powerful. Nobody could go against him. But Chandragupta Maurya, he planned to start a war and he defeated Seleucus Nicator. After the defeat, Seleucus Nicator was so much impressed of the bravery of Chandragupta that he gave his daughter in marriage. Okay, even today we have a convention in India that a girl, when she is married, after the vidai or when she is sent to her in-laws house, she will not go alone. She will always have one companion for few days in the early years. Nowadays it is not like for early years. Nowadays it's like the brother of the bride, she goes in her house to help her and make her comfortable with everyone and to connect her with everybody else. So it's like establishing a connection very nicely and peacefully. So there also at that time this convention used to be there. So when the bride came, with the bride, Megasthenes also came. So Megasthenes came as a Greek ambassador. He never came from the Greece. He was with the Seleucus Nicator, who was already in India. Okay, so he was already in the northwestern part only, but he was a Greek origin person. So when he came here, he was known as a Greek ambassador. Okay, but it was a kind of a matrimonial and a political relation with Megasthenes. Megasthenes wrote Indica, but the problem was that Megasthenes used to believe on hear and say, suni sunai baatein. So whatever he used to hear, whatever people used to say, he used to write it in Indica. Sometimes people used to say, it is very good to eat the betel leaves. Pan chabao, pan kha ke bada maza aata hai. So he just wrote it that okay, when people eat pan in India, they feel good. It is like a drugs for them. So he was not aware about the reality. Sometimes he never knew the ground realities and the real culture of Indians. But whatever he used to see and the way he had the perceptions, according to his perspective, he used to write. So before even uh, thinking twice or researching about it, he used to write some facts which are very, very funny. But still, Megasthenes Indica is very important for us because it gives us a detail of that particular time. However, we don't have the book Indica right now, but some of the segments and fragments of Indica are still available for us, which are mentioned and written by some other authors. So that's why it is available in parts and not completely. Okay, so his book Indica gives us the detail of the modern administration, particularly the administration of the capital city of Patliputra, also the military organization. Picture on the contemporary social life also is given by the Indica. You should know that it came in the prelims also, the statement of Megasthenes, that who gave this statement. So when he came to the Mauryan court, he used to say that it is the greatest creation of the mankind. Okay, so this statement was by the Greek ambassador Megasthenes. It is written also in Indica that he used to call it the greatest creation of mankind. Write it down if you want. The greatest creation of the mankind. When you saw the palaces, when he saw the Mauryan administration, the empire, the architecture. So he was so pleased to see the Mauryan architecture that Mauryan architecture was called as the greatest creation of the mankind by Megasthenes. Okay, now other literatures are also there like Puranas and Buddhist literatures, Jatak stories. They give us information about Mauryas. The Ceylonese chronicles from Sri Lanka, known as Deepavamsa and Mahavamsa, they also throw light on the role of Ashoka spreading the Buddhism in Sri Lanka. But other than these literary sources, we have archaeological sources as well. So see, this is a part of your art and culture, but I'm trying to connect it with you because I want your art and culture to be strong. When you complete the classes of ancient and medieval history with me, your 50% of art and culture syllabus will also be covered automatically. It will be like a saving of time because I have not mentioned art and culture classes separately in this course, because I am doing it in the course itself, within the topic. Whenever the topic comes, that art and culture of that particular topic will be covered in this, in this way only. So now if you talk about the archaeological sources, we have so many sources. Like Ashokan edicts are the best sources. The inscription of Ashoka, they were first deciphered by James Prinsep in 1837. Please remember, it came in the exam also. Okay, James Prinsep was the one who first deciphered the Ashokan inscriptions, who were written in the Pali and Prakrit language. So they are written in Pali language, and some places they are written in the Prakrit language. Okay, which script was used? The Brahmi script was used to write this Ashokan edict. In the northwestern India, Ashokan inscriptions were found in Kharoshti script. Ashokan inscriptions remain valuable sources for the study of Ashoka and the Mauryan Empire, because they tell you about every particular zone. It's like you get the confirmation from archaeology. Like if something is written and the same thing is present on that particular place, it will be like a confirmation for you that okay, it is written in this book and the similar features are found somewhere else. So if you just see pratyaksh ko praman kya, have you heard this line? Pratyaksh ko praman kya, like if something is present in front of you, then you don't need any kind of certificates to certify it or to verify it. It is a verification in itself. Archaeology verifies the history by itself because it is in front of you visibly and you can see it is a tangible thing, and the tangible thing will give you the confirmation. So there are 14 major rock edicts. The major pillar edicts were erected in the important cities, and there are minor rock edicts also and minor pillar edicts also. So these all are the edicts of Ashoka. They deal with the Ashoka's Dhamma and the instructions given by the Ashoka to his officials. Okay, so you can see this, this triangle, all these triangles are the pillar edicts. Okay, and the squares are the major rock edicts. Okay, the small squares are minor rock edicts, rock edicts, and small triangles, white triangles are the minor pillar edicts. Okay, so just remember, these all are very, very important for you. You can get questions directly from all these edicts. Okay, Kandahar edict, Sabzgarhi, Kalsi, Delhi Topra, Meerut, Kaushambi, Lauria Nandangarh, Lumbini, Rampurva, Lauria Arajraj, Dhauli, Jawgad, Amravati, Yeragodi, Sannathi, Sopara, Girnar. In all these areas, we found the edicts of Ashoka. Okay, and these edicts are important to know about the sermon of Ashoka and how he wanted to tell his mind to the people, the way his administration was. Okay, now the 13th rock edict gives us the detail about his war with Kalinga, after which he changed his mind and he converted to the Buddhism. He started to follow Buddhism and he became a monk and he left the war. That's why in NCERT, the chapter related to Ashoka, the title of that chapter, do you know what is written? The emperor who gave up the war. This is a very big thing, guys. See, he was an emperor. Like nowadays, I see people, even if they have a small possession, even if they have a small thing with them, they are so materialistic that they don't want to share it with anyone. They don't want to give it. They don't give up easily. And they don't want anybody to touch their things. But I see Ashoka as such a big emperor who gave up the war. The main basic principle for a ruler is war. But he gave up the war. He was so big. So that's why it is said that, if you go into the details of anything, you will get only zero. Everything will come back to the square and you will just feel that why it started. Right? So here also the pillar edict, 7th pillar edict, it gives us the summary of his effort to promote the Dhamma within his kingdom. And what is Dhamma? Dhamma was not a new religion. Okay, Dhamma is just a code of conduct. What is Dhamma? Dhamma is code of conduct. Dhamma was new, not a new religion. It was inspired by the Buddhism. It was related to the Buddhism, but he never started a new religion in India. He used to follow Buddhism and he gave the concept of Dhamma, and he also appointed Dhammahamatyas to promote the idea of Dhamma. Okay, what is Dhamma? Dhamma is a code of conduct. So Dhamma is not Dharma. It is not a Dharma. It is a Dhamma. What is Dhamma? Dhamma is a way of life. Like how should you behave? What should you practice? What should you do? It is, there is nothing to do with the religion. Even if you are a Brahman, even if you are a person coming from Islam, you can follow Dhamma, because it is all about following good ethical conduct in life. It is all about good manners and good ethics in the life. Okay, that is Dhamma. But if you will compare the Dhamma with the new religion declared by Akbar, who started Deen-e-Ilahi, that is different, because Akbar also had same principles in Deen-e-Ilahi, that we should respect everyone and we should respect all the religion. He was also very tolerant. So sometimes Akbar's Deen-e-Ilahi is compared with the Ashokan Dhamma. But Ashoka's Dhamma was not a new religion, but Akbar's Deen-e-Ilahi was a new religion, which we will read when we will discuss the Mughal Empire. But right now we are doing the Mauryan Empire. So in the Mauryan Empire, you should only read about Dhamma. So now I have told you the sources to know about the Mauryan Empire. Now, three important rulers of Mauryan Empire. Number one, Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya, he was the founder of the Mauryan Empire, who started this, and with the help of Kautilya, he could defeat Dhananand, and after killing Dhananand, he started his new rule. After Chandragupta Maurya defeated Dhananand, he started expansion. He defeated Seleucus Nicator also, due to which the Greek ambassador came to India. And then Bindusar became the next ruler. Bindusar was the son of Chandragupta Maurya. Bindusar also was a great ruler like his father. He also expanded it and he penetrated in the South India. He made the Ashoka as the governor of Ujjain. Basically, Ashoka started his career from Ujjain. But when Ashoka became the governor, he was so ambitious, he could not wait to get the throne. He wanted to usurp the throne. He was waiting for it, and that's why it is said that he killed everyone. He killed all his brothers to get the throne. So Ashoka was very non-violent he was very violent in nature, but later he, after converting to Buddhism, became very non-violent, because then he understood that violence has nothing to do with the peace. And if you want a peaceful life, you ultimately need to be very ethical in your conduct. And that's why he became very sentimental and emotional, and then he became the follower of Buddhism later in his life. So after the death of Ashoka, this particular Mauryan empire, it got declined. Why? First of all, the peace policy of Ashoka, the army got demoralized, the empire was so vast that it was hard to manage, and the successors were very, very weak. Whenever you talk about the downfall of any empire, there is a common point which you can write everywhere in the Indian history, that is weak successors. It is a common thing. Okay, weak successors. Clear? Govinda, you are asking me what is Dhamma Vipassana? I heard this. See, Vipassana is a different thing. Vipassana is something where you just follow the approach to connect with your own self. But Dhamma is related to connecting with the world in a more tolerant way. Okay. But Dhamma Vipassana, basically, it follows a conduct where you try to connect with your own self, where you don't speak for few days, you try to restrict your movements, you stay in a very simple way, you only wear the white clothes, or very simple, basic beige color of clothes, and you just try to disconnect with all the materialistic things, so that you connect with your own soul and you know who you are. Fine, it is a practice basically. Rahi, you are asking what does it mean by Kharoshti script? I told it yesterday. Were you absent in the last class? If you're absent, then watch it again. I have already discussed this, but I will again tell you because you have asked it in the live class. So now I need to tell it. Basically, Kharoshti script is a way of writing. Like, have you seen people when sometimes in North India, it is a trend that we like to speak in mix of languages, Hindi and English. But when we do the chatting, we write the Hindi word in English. Have you seen people doing it? Like if this is written here Mauryan Empire, I can write Mauryan Empire like this also. Mauryan Empire. I can write it like this also, right? Is it visible to you? So, can you tell me which language and script I am using here when I write Mauryan Empire in this way? This is Devanagari script. The Hindi language is written in Devanagari script. For Hindi language, if I want to change the language, I will write it Maurya Vansh or Maurya Samrajya. This is Devanagari script. This is Devanagari script. But here the language is English. Here the language is Hindi. So language is the way you speak. Script is the way you write. Okay, this is Devanagari script. Clear? So script is the writing style of anything. That is script. So Kharoshti is also a style of writing. Clear? Any other doubts? Govind, you want to prepare UPSC in Telugu medium? In any medium you prepare. That's why I'm taking it in English, no? Because in English, if I teach you for in any medium, then you would be able to crack the exam. Because English is a common language, okay? And if you grasp English, the content of the idea, then you will read it in your own language, in your own mother tongue, and then you can, easily crack the exam. That's why we are using the English medium here in the classes. I don't see any more doubts, so I'll proceed. Now, I have discussed the Mauryan Empire, the rulers with you. I wanted to see this particular map which tells you about the Mauryan dynasty, their tributaries, their capital cities, and their other important cities. Now, when I talk about the first ruler, he is Chandragupta Maurya. Please remember the date 322 to 298 BC. Okay, when he ruled. So, if we talk about the political history of Mauryas, Chandragupta Maurya, he was the founder of the Mauryan Empire, captured Patliputra from the last ruler of Nanda dynasty. This is Patliputra here. I hope it is visible to you. Okay, so when he captured it, he killed Dhananand with the help of Kautilya. Kautilya is also known as Chanakya or Vishnugupta. He was the prime minister of Chandragupta Maurya. He was the guru of Chandragupta Maurya, and he knew about everything. Can you tell me, when Chanakya was so intelligent, then why he searched for Chandragupta Maurya? Why he could have become the ruler by himself? What was the need of Chandragupta Maurya in this position when Chanakya was so intelligent? He could have done it by himself. Why he needed Chandragupta Maurya in this journey at all? Any idea? Namaste Riyan Thakur. Okay. I'll tell you. Basically, Chanakya or Vishnugupta, first of all, he was mature in his age when he took this pledge. Okay. He understood that he needs a guy who will have more age extent than him. Maybe who will be living more than him. Okay. That's why. So, first of all, due to his age limit. Second, he was a Brahman, and at that time the rule of Brahman was not considered that true, and some clashes with Buddhism and Jainism were already going on. So he wanted to focus on that systematic detail, to just be a teacher and preacher like a Brahman. Thirdly, he knew that he is having the strength, but he was so mature at that time that even after exercising and training, he won't be able to be that brave like Chandragupta Maurya could be. Why? Because Chandragupta Maurya, when he was chosen, he was a very small kid. Okay, he was a very small kid. And when you train a kid since the starting, then you get the best results. For example, Tina Dabi. Tina Dabi and so many other friends of mine I have seen that they cracked the UPSC CSE exam in very early, stage of their life, at a very early stage, and that too in the first attempt. Okay, like they were in the third year of their college and they were just 21. They just, they just got eligible to write the exam and they cracked it so nicely and so smoothly. They cracked it in their first attempt, but it was not with just 1 year of preparation. First attempt doesn't mean that it is the 1 year preparation, or the second attempt doesn't mean that 2 years of preparation. No, first attempt meant that they prepared since their childhood. Their parents were so deliberately doing it since their childhood that they deliberately taught them in the way that they need to be the next UPSC CSC servant. So they knew how to go for it. So the strategy was made in the childhood only. So you get more time if you start something in your childhood or in your early stage of life. You will have a early bird access. You will have more power and energy, and then you can train your body also to be more brain. It is said that he used to give some point of some drops of poison every day to few of the girls to make them so poisonous that these girls, they had a human body, but these girls, I don't know what name is there. If you know, tell me. These girls were known as what? But these girls, when they used to bite anyone, it was like a bite of a snake and the person died. uh, what is the name? I don't know, but he had a army of girls like this, and Nagin, something like that. Okay, I don't know, remember right now. It's a very funny name, but if you know, you can tell me. Okay, so like this, the trainings used to be given. He used to give some point of poison also to Chandragupta Maurya. He used to take some drops of poison regularly, so that in any case, if somebody poisons his food, because it was very common at that time, so even that will not kill Chandragupta Maurya. He will be very strong in his body and in his mind. That's why this planning was done, and Chanakya chose Chandragupta Maurya. So this is the importance of Chanakya and Chandragupta Maurya in this particular journey. Vishkanya, yes, Riya and Rahil, you guys are right. At that time, priests don't want it, not everybody, it was a personal decision of Kautilya. But every time you see the Varna system, according to the Varna system, the priests or the Brahmins, they were not meant to rule. They were born to teach the society. Okay, they were born to teach the society, and they were born to teach only. They were born to preach only. So they used to stick with that because they had immense knowledge of Vedas. Nobody else had the knowledge of Vedas. So if nobody will have the knowledge, and if the person who is having a knowledge, instead of giving knowledge and spreading that knowledge to the others, if the person will do something else, if the person will become a ruler or a trader, then who will spread the knowledge to you? Isn't it? So society needs teachers also, society needs ruler also, society needs agriculturals also. We need everything. So that's why this kind of clear demarcation was given by the Varna system. Now, after formally establishing his power in the Gangetic Valley, he marched to the northwest and subdued the territories up to the Indus. Then he moved to central India and occupied the region north of the Narmada river. You can see this particular zone. So this is Narmada river. Always remember that Narmada river used to be the boundary for North India and South India. Narmada and Tapi, only these two rivers are the rivers. They flow in the west. They go and they drain in the Arabian Sea instead of Bay of Bengal. They drain in the Arabian Sea. But all other rivers like Ganga, they go and drain into the Bay of Bengal. So they are having a opposite drainage system. So that's why it is sometimes said that instead of being Ganga, you can also be Narmada. Okay, Narmada bano, ulte baho. Okay, because still the work is done. Fine. So here also Chandragupta Maurya. he did this much of extent, and after him this region was spreaded more under the rule of Bindusar. So in 305 BC, Chandragupta Maurya basically he marched against Alexander's general Seleucus Nicator, who was controlling the northwestern part, and he defeated Seleucus Nicator, and a treaty was signed. By this treaty, Seleucus Nicator gave the Trans-Indus territories, namely Arya, Arachosia, Gedrosia, to Mauryan Empire. Very important. Please write it down. By this treaty, Seleucus Nicator ceded the Trans-Indus territories, namely Arya, Arachosia, Gedrosia, to Mauryan Empire because he was defeated. So he gave his daughter and his important areas also to the Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, he gave his daughter in the marriage to the prince, and Megasthenes was sent to the Mauryan court. He was a Greek ambassador. Chandragupta Maurya basically, when he became so popular and so big, ultimately it is said that later in his life he decided to just do a fast unto death, that is known as Sallekhana. I have told you about Sallekhana. Sallekhana was a practice which was banned by the Rajasthan High Court in 2015, but they later Supreme Court uplifted the ban, saying that it is not a suicide. So Chandragupta Maurya also did Sallekhana. He went to Shravanabela Gola, which is near Mysore. Okay, it is in Karnataka only. So he went to that area with some Jain monks led by Bhadrabahu, and he starved himself to death. So how Chandragupta Maurya died? How Chandragupta Maurya died? Not in the war, by himself. He chose his death. He wanted to die, and that's why he died. Now next is Bindusar, 298 to 273 BC. Bindusar was called by the Greeks as Amitragatha because he was the slayer of his enemies. He was very furious in his nature, and he also used to follow the idea of his father. Okay, just remember a point here. Are you looking at the chronology? Are you looking at the chronology? I started from 2 million years ago, where I taught you that 2 million years ago to 12,000 BC, we had Paleolithic age. Then from 12,000 BC to 10,000 BC, we had Mesolithic age. Then after 10,000 BC to around 5,000 BC, we had Neolithic age. Then around 4,000 BC, we had Chalcolithic age. Then 3000 BC, Bronze age. 1000 BC, Iron age. 600 BC, Mahajanpads. 300 BC, Mauryas. So we are in 300 BC. इसके बाद क्या आएगा? After 300 BC, we will be having 200 BC, 100 BC, okay, 50 BC, 40 BC, 30 BC, 20 BC, 10 BC, and then we will start with AD. Okay, so we need to cover till the part of 0 in the ancient India. So when we will reach 0 AD, we will end the ancient India, and then we will start the medieval India from 0 AD. Because ancient history is in BC and BC goes backward. Ulta chalta hai date. You can see we started from 12,000 and we are reaching to this particular point. We have covered till the part of 300 BC. Right now we are in 298 to 273 BC. So we are somewhere here. Okay, we are after this. So we will come to this zone now. See why I am writing this chronology again and again, because if I'll teach you this again and again daily, this will be in print on your brain and you will never forget the dates. Because the best way to remember all the dates in the history is don't try to remember them. Instead of trying to memorize and mug up, what you can do is just read them. Read and ignore. Read and ignore. Okay, in this way, when you will read, and if you will not be very cautious about memorizing it every time, then you will enjoy the journey more. Because if you know the story, if you know the idea, then you will be able to write more answers in the exam. Even if you forget few dates, but if you know the concept, you will still get more marks. But if you only remember the dates, but you don't have any storyline in your mind, if you don't have remember the names, how it happened, what was there, what was the concept, then you won't be able to write the answer. Because dates, names, events, battles, that is written in your question paper, that will be written, but the story which I'm giving you, that will not be written, that you need to know. So instead of focusing on memorizing the dates and the names of the kings and the places in the history, try to enjoy the story like a movie. If you enjoy the story, this will be known to you, and you will learn it gradually with time. It happens because if you are a new student, it will take some time to get familiar with the dates, but with time you will see that every day, if you know, revise and memorize same kind of things day to day basis, it becomes a practice, and then it will be inbuilt in your mind. Like I know and I remember all the dates. Why? Because I'm teaching since last 10 years, so everything is in print in my mind. Okay, even if I'm sleeping, I would be able to say all those dates, because I don't need anything. Even I don't need to look at the books. I know which date happened, what happened in, you know, which particular part. But this, you know, this much of in-depth memorization you don't need. Okay, because I'm a teacher, I need to have this kind of mindset, but you don't need it. Why? Because you are just an aspirant. If you have the idea to crack the exam, then you just need to memorize the concepts and understand the story. Dates will be remembered by you automatically. Okay, so don't worry. Now Bindusar. So Bindusar was called the as Amitra Gatha because he was the slayer of enemy. He you know, conquered the Deccan up to the Mysore area, and the Sangam Tamil literature confirms that Mauryan invasion of far south happened during the time of Bindusar. So, how the confirmation is coming? It is coming from Sangam Tamil literature. How many Sangams happened? Can you tell me how many Sangams happened? What is Sangam literature? Sangam means meeting. Okay, so there was a meeting of Tamil poets. It used to happen in Madurai. Can you tell me how many times this meeting used to be there, or how many times it happened? 3 times. Okay, very good, Nitesh. Well done. 3 times is the right answer. So Bindusar, he received Demachus as the ambassador from the Syrian king also. Antiochus I. Antiochus I was the king of Syria, and this is a very important point. You should write it down and keep it in your brain that Bindusar, he received Demachus as ambassador from the Syrian king Antiochus I. Okay, so who came during the time of Chandragupta Maurya? Megasthenes. Who came during the time of Bindusar? Demachus. Megasthenes and Demachus. Remember, they are the ambassadors. Fine. So he supported the Ajivikas. Ajivika is a religious sect. Okay. Bindusar appointed his son Ashoka as the governor of Ujjain, but Ashoka wanted more, so he killed everyone and became the next ruler. Okay. So if we talk about the empire of Ashoka, this is such a big, vast empire. You can see he was a great ruler, and he was someone who just, you know, who never used to think twice before killing anyone. He was very violent in his initial days. So Ashoka the Great, he ruled from 273 to 232 BC. Can you see we are coming closer to AD. AD के पास आ रहे हैं 232 BC. Okay, so Ashoka the Great from 273 to 232 BC, there is a little information about his early life, but he acted as a governor of Ujjain, and he suppressed a revolt in Takshila during his father Bindusar's reign. There was a struggle for the throne after Bindusar's death, and the Ceylonese chronicles like Deepavamsa and Mahavamsa state that Ashoka captured the power after the killing his 99 brothers, including his elder brother Susima. But according to Taranath, which is of Tibet, in this literary record, Ashoka killed only 6 of his brothers. But the important event of Ashoka reign is that the victorious war of Kalinga in 261 BC. After this Kalinga war, he became victorious, but he just wanted to give up the war, because he was so violent that in this war he, you know, killed lakhs of people, and a lot of bloodshed happened. The blood rivers were flowing everywhere. So that's why he himself you know, described it in the rock edict, the 13th rock edict, and then later he chose to be a Buddhist. Now effect of Kaling war is that he embraced Buddhism, and he became a monk later. And you know, it was in the influence of a Buddhist monk known as Upagupta, which is important for prelims. Remember the name Upagupta. Okay, who inspired Ashoka to become a Buddhist or to become a monk? Who inspired Ashoka? Upagupta. Upagupta inspired Ashoka. Remember, clear? When I say these names, you can also write it down in the comments. If you will type the name, you will remember it more. It is a trick to remember the names in the history, because if you write it and if you type it, you will remember it more. There are more chances that you will not forget it in the exam. Upagupta. Okay, Ashoka and Buddhism. So about 261 BC, Ashoka became a Sakya Upasak, means a lay disciple. He just used to worship, but after 2.5 years, he became a bhikshu, means a monk. He visited Bodh Gaya and he organized missions also. He appointed special officers called Dharma Maha Matras to speed up the progress of Dhamma. Dhamma was a way of life, it was a code of conduct, it was not a new religion. In 241 BC, he visited the birthplace of Buddha and the Lumbini garden near Kapilvastu, and also visited other holy places related to the Buddhism like Sarvasti, Sarnath, Kushinagar. Everywhere he used to visit, he used to make a stupa there. Okay, he sent his missions to Sri Lanka under his son Mahendra and daughter Sangamitra. Please remember the name Mahendra and Sangamitra. Okay, who are they? Kids of Ashoka. Okay, so Mahendra and Sangamitra planted the branch of the original Bodhi tree in Sri Lanka, through which the idea of Buddhism went to Sri Lanka also. Ashoka's he convened the third Buddhist council in Patliputra in 240 BC in order to strengthen the Sangha, and it was presided over by Mogali Putta Tisa. He was the president at that time. Okay, so till this point of time, we only have which type of Buddhism? Can you tell me, Hinian or Mahayan? Till this time, we only have, be quick in your answers. Hinian Buddhism. Okay, after this, after the death of Ashoka, in the fourth Buddhist council, we will get Mahayan Buddhism. I have already covered Buddhism and Jainism with you yesterday. Clear? Yes, very good, Nitesh. Now, next is very, very important that, Ashoka's empire had a great extent. The northwestern frontier was already demarcated by Chandragupta Maurya, but Ashoka's inscription mentioned the southernmost kingdom was Cholas, Pandyas and Satyaputras. So Cholas, Pandyas and Satyaputras were also ruling. They were not the part of Ashokan empire, but they were in a very deep south. Okay, and Keral Putras, Satyaputras as a border state. So therefore, these states remained outside the Mauryan Empire. According to Raj Tarangini, Kashmir was also the part of Mauryan Empire. Can you tell me who wrote Raj Tarangini? Who wrote Raj Tarangini? Who is the author of Raj Tarangini? Kalhana. Okay, Kalhana. Remember. Very good, Rajneesh. Well done, Rajneesh. Okay. Now, Nepal was also within the Mauryan Empire. Okay, so Nepal was the part of Mauryan Empire only. Kalhana wrote the Raj Tarangini, which gives the detail of the political rule in the Kashmir and royal families of Kashmir. So, Ashoka's Dhamma. Ashoka's Dhamma was a still broad concept, elaboration of the way of life. It was tolerant to each and every religion. It respected all the religions, signifies a general code of conduct and a set of principles to be adopted and practiced by the people at large. His principle of Dhamma was clearly stated in his edicts. Ashoka's Dhammas mention the various edicts, and they may be summed up as follows: that what is Dhamma? So Dhamma says that service to father and mother, practice of ahimsa, love and truth, reverence to teachers and good treatment of relatives is important. So can you see anything which is in conflict with any other religion? Yes or no? In the Dhamma, do you see anything which is in conflict with any other religion? Who will give me the answer? Read and tell me. You can read it. No, not at all. Not at all. Why? Can you tell me why? Because see, these things are very common to every religion, and they are just about a way of life. They are just about a code of conduct. It is not related to any religion, and that's why Ashoka, when he was doing all these things, he never had to face any rebellion, religious revolt against him, because he was telling only the truth. He was telling whatever is important, whatever can be followed by everyone. But similarly, if you compare it with the idea of Akbar, basically Akbar started a new religion. Akbar's religion was known as Deen-e-Ilahi. Okay, so Akbar started a new religion, due to which he had to face many rebellious debates against him. Many of the religious preachers and teachers, they never liked the idea of Akbar, that why he is going against Islam, why he is trying to start a new religion, is he trying to be a god by himself now? So people started following it in this way. Okay, now let's come back to the Ashoka's Dhamma. As I told you that service to father and mother, prohibition of animal sacrifices, and festive gatherings. What is wrong with festive gatherings? Do you see anything wrong with the festive gatherings? It looks so good. Then why he stopped it? Because in the festive gatherings, sometimes unnecessary expense happens. Those who are poor, they will become more poor. The poverty will increase. Okay, because people do a lot of show offs, and so many elaborated rituals are also done. So that's why these festive gatherings were avoided. Avoiding expensive and meaningless ceremonies and rituals, efficient organization of administration in the direction of social welfare, and maintenance of constant contact with people through the system of Dhamma Mahamatyas. So basically, Dhamma Mahamatyas, they really had to follow the instructions of Ashoka, and they were there to take care of everything. They were trying to be so best with them. If we talk about the human treatment of servants by master and prisoners by government officials, it was done. Consideration and non-violence to animals, and courtesy to the relation, and liberty to Brahmins was given. Tolerance among all the religious sect was gone, and conquest through Dhamma instead through the war was also given. If we talk about the concept of non-violence and other similar ideas of Ashoka's Dhamma, they are identical with the teaching of Buddha. Buddhism remained his personal belief, and he did not equate Dhamma with the Buddhist teachings. He said that I am not trying to, establish any equivalent religion. I'm just giving you a code of conduct. If we talk about the estimate, Ashoka was the greatest king of all. He surpassed Alexander the Great also, Julius Caesar also, and other renowned Europeans, emperors of the world. So his Dhamma is so universal that it appeals to promote welfare of humanity and the policy of non-aggression to everyone. Anybody in the world can follow Dhamma. That's why it is said that if you are giving a ज्ञान, है ना, लोग ज्ञान देते हैं ना, ज्ञान means what? Lecture. Ultimately giving lectures. So if you are really giving lectures or motivating someone, it should be something which can help people in every phase of their life, in any time and instantly. If it cannot help you instantly, then it is of no use. We had already so many religious scripts and cultures in India. We had Dharma Sutras, Nyaya Sutras, Smritis, Shrutis, Vedas, Brahmanas, Upanishads. We had so many things in India, but the problem was that they only give us Gyan, but no immediate instant understanding. It had to read with so much of depth and detail, which was out of the reach of a common man. And if you can't apply those practices directly on your day-to-day basis, then it is of no use. Fine. So the problem was that other things which were being followed at that time, they used to be in a very sophisticated language. But here, no sophistication at all. So easy and breezy. Now, it had the policy of non-aggression also. When we talk about later Mauryas, Ashoka's death happened in 232 BC, which was followed by the division of Mauryan Empire into two parts, Western Mauryan Empire and Eastern Mauryan Empire. Like if you will read the Roman Empire also, when it got declined, it also got divided into Western Roman Empire and Eastern Roman Empire. Okay, the Eastern Roman Empire was also known as Byzantine Empire. You will read it in the world history. So here also similar things happened, and ultimately the downfall started. So due to the Bactrian invasion, the western part of the empire got collapsed very easily. So Bactria is again a zone, a kingdom, Bactria kingdom. Okay, it is known as Bactria. Bactria, not bacteria. It is not bacteria. कोई bacteria, fungus, virus नहीं है. It is not bacteria. It is bacteria. So Bactria, Bactrian kingdom was there, and from Bactria, many rulers came to India and they invaded, due to which the downfall of the western side happened. But the last modern king was Brihadrat, who was assassinated by Pushyamitra Shunga. Who was Pushyamitra Shunga? Pushyamitra Shunga was the commander-in-chief of the Mauryan army. So the commander-in-chief of the army himself revolted against his own ruler and started his new dynasty, Sunga dynasty. Sunga dynasty was started. Now, Sunga dynasty is the end of Mauryan rule. But can you tell me why Pushyamitra Shunga, the commander-in-chief of the army, revolted against his own ruler? It's not just about a political ambition. It is more than polity. It is more than politics. It is more emotional in nature, if you will know. Basically, Pushyamitra Shunga followed Brahmanism. He wanted to bring back that old Hindu tradition in India, the dominance of Brahmanical tradition. He used to hate how Buddhism and Jainism started spreading, and they wanted to take a revenge. Okay, and that's why, to establish their religion again back to India in the same way, the way Brahmanism used to be before Jainism and Buddhism came into existence. That's why this was a kind of a religious revolt, you can say. And that's why Pushyamitra Shunga, after defeating the last ruler Brihadrat, after killing Brihadrat, became the new ruler, and this was all about your Mauryan Empire. So we have covered the Mauryan Empire. Now in the next class, what I will do, I will teach you post-Mauryan India. And that is very, very important for prelims, because the entire art and culture is coming from the post-Mauryan India. Main development of art and culture happened in the post-Mauryan India only. So we will do the post-Mauryan India tomorrow. Okay, today's session is ended now. Those having no doubts can leave the session here. Thank you so much. Those having any doubts, if you want to talk, if you want to discuss anything, please stay and let me know if you have anything to discuss. Nitesh is right. Revival of Brahmanism in the Sunga period. Very good, Nitesh. And yes. Fine. I see no more doubts are here for today. So I will end the session here. Thank you so much for coming and joining, guys. I am trying to upload the PDFs on Telegram channel. So I think by tomorrow I'll upload all the PDFs. I am free tomorrow. So I have more time tomorrow. So you guys can even talk to me if you want. On Telegram, you can text me, you can message me, and whenever I'll get time, I'll reply. Tomorrow I'm on leave, and on weekends also I'm on leave. I don't need to go anywhere. As I told you, I'm a lawyer, so I visit courts regularly, but I don't have any work for 2-3 days right now, so I am quite free and I can give more time to you. So you guys can connect to me on Telegram. And to join the Telegram channel, the link is given in the description box. So just click on the link and join me there. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. And yes, you can continue this class for UGC and NET, and you can continue it for any exam. Like, see, the book of history, all the books for history, the concept of history, and Indian polity, Lakshmi Kant. These books are common for all the exams. Like, to crack any exam, you need to know these details. Fine, because it will come in judiciary also. I teach for judiciary also. I teach for other examinations also. Why? Because I teach only one common topic. This is the same which I'll teach in the judiciary classes. But the thing is that when they will write the exam, they also need the same concept. Fine. So concept and the history is always same. And Indian polity M. Lakshmikant book is always common for all the exam for Indian polity. It is common. For any exam you can watch. Okay, but I will be discussing the previous year questions from UPSC CSE only. When I teach you in the classes, when I say that this question came in exam, there I want to tell you that this question came in UPSC CSE exam last year or maybe previous years. So I will follow the previous year questions of UPSC CSE only in this series, in this classes. Okay, but the concept is common for all the exams, so you can watch. Okay, fine. Okay, Rahil, you are also pursuing LLB from where? From which university? Yeah, thank you so much, Vijaya. Thank you so much, Kinjara, Nitesh, Rahi, Amikundu. Yeah, and Ria also. Everybody. See you guys tomorrow. Okay, so I'll end the session here, guys. See you then. Take care. Bye bye.